Being part of the Common Travel Area enables unfettered access to our island, making us vulnerable to being exploited by organised crime groups who see the Isle of Man as a lucrative market for the sale of illicit drugs. This is not a victimless crime. In order to conduct their illegal activities with the least risk to themselves, the organised criminal groups in the UK and here locally target young and vulnerable people and exploit them using coercion, intimidation or even violence, which ultimately forces them into a life of crime. The sale of drugs not only leads to violence and harm, but it also destroys communities. Tackling criminality is one of the key policing purposes outlined in the Constabulary's policing strategy and is reinforced in the policing plan, which has highlighted tackling serious and organised crime as a priority for the Minister for Justice and Home Affairs. The Isle of Man and Constabulary have realigned their finite resources to proactively target key members of organised crime groups, disrupting and dismantling their empires, seizing significant amounts of drugs before they hit the streets, and taking cash which has been acquired as proceeds from such criminality. As you will have already seen in the media, some of the criminals in these higher echelons of organised crime groups have had significant prison sentences imposed, which should be seen as a deterrent, insomuch as we will not tolerate such criminality as a society here in the Isle of Man. One of the strands we needed to tackle as an organisation was the prevalence of Class A drugs being sold throughout the nighttime economy. Our data shows that not only does this illegal activity increase the levels of harm and violence on the island, with a large proportion of our serious assaults being drug-related, but it ultimately sees a greater financial yield with limited risk to organised crime groups targeting our island. As a comparison, the price of cocaine on the streets of the Isle of Man is 3 times the price of cocaine on the streets of Merseyside. Throughout the latter part of 2023, the Isle of Man Constabulary, working in partnership with the North West Regional Organised Crime Unit, have engaged in a covert operation with the objective of identifying individuals actively dealing Class A drugs throughout the nighttime economy, predominantly in or around licensed premises. This operation was successful in that evidence was gained identifying in excess of 20 local individuals responsible for either dealing Class A drugs or involved in facilitating drug deals. Between the 30th of January and the 8th of February this year, the Isle of Man Constabulary were engaged in the enforcement phase of this operation, and 21 local suspects were arrested on suspicion of offences under the Misuse of Drugs Act. As a result of these arrests, 19 have now been charged with offences for being concerned in the supply of Class A drugs and are currently going through the criminal justice system. Tackling organised criminality will remain one of the Constabulary's top priorities, and together with other law enforcement agencies, we will continue to relentlessly pursue people trying to exploit our island, and we will endeavour to make the Isle of Man a hostile environment for such criminality to thrive. We will continue to proactively target criminals using the maritime port and airport, mail coming into the island, small boats and local drug dealers, particularly those exploiting children and vulnerable people. If any members of the public have any information on those involved in serious and organised crime or involved in the supply of drugs on the Isle of Man, then they are urged to contact Douglas Police Headquarters, or alternatively they can contact Crime Stoppers anonymously on 0800 555 111.